Let me paint you a picture. It's Saturday night. You're 24. You just got paid. You hit the restaurant with your friends, split a $90 appetizer platter, tip on top of that, then ordered DoorDash again at midnight because, hey, you work hard, you deserve it. And the car you drove there? You're leasing it. $480 a month for something you'll never actually own. Sounds like living, right? Fast forward 3 years. You're 27. Your bank account looks almost exactly the same as it did at 24. And now your friends from high school are posting about buying their first house, and you're sitting there wondering, what the hell happened? Here's what happened. You fell into the financial quicksand. You weren't reckless. You weren't stupid. You just bought into the biggest lie your generation was sold, that your 20s are for living it up and that you can get serious at 30. That's like training for a marathon the day before the race and expecting to win. Your 20s are not a vacation from responsibility. They are the most valuable financial decade of your entire life. And most people blow it buying things that make them look successful while quietly ensuring they will never be successful. So today, I'm going to break down the 7 things you should actually be spending money on in your 20s. Things that use time as your unfair advantage, build real wealth, and give you something that can never be faked. Options. Let's get into it. Thing number 1, a side hustle, the income engine. The first thing you need to buy in your 20s is an income engine. And I'm not talking about some passive income fantasy you saw in a TikTok ad at 2 a.m. I'm talking about buying the tools and foundation for a real side hustle. A camera for your photography, a domain name for your service business, a basic microphone for your podcast or content, a software subscription that lets you offer something real to a real client. But here's the part most people get wrong. Don't start something random. The biggest mistake I see is people pivoting into some random dropshipping business or trying to sell a course when they've never done the thing they're teaching. That's not a side hustle, that's an expensive hobby with extra steps. Instead, ask yourself, what do I already know how to do that someone else would pay for? You're good at graphic design? Sell it. You know how to fix cars? Offer mobile oil changes on weekends. You understand social media? Businesses are desperate for that. You're a solid writer? Copywriting clients will pay you $500 for a single email sequence. The investment is small. A domain name is $12. A basic website can be built free. The difference maker is using the skills you already have. And here's why your 20s are the perfect time to do this. You have almost nothing to lose. No mortgage, probably no kids. Your obligations are tiny compared to what they'll be at 35. This is the window where a calculated risk that fails costs you 3 months of effort, but a risk that succeeds can completely change your financial trajectory for the rest of your life. The income engine doesn't have to be massive right away. Even an extra $500 a month invested wisely is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars down the road. We'll come back to that math. It gets wild.
Thing number 2, index funds in a Roth IRA, the wealth foundation. This is the one that makes mathematically literate people emotional. If you are 22 years old right now and you invest just $200 a month into index funds inside a Roth IRA and you do it consistently, you will have approximately $1 million by age 67. Sit with that. $200 a month, less than most people spend on subscriptions and coffee. $1 million. Now, here's the gut punch. If you wait until you're 32 to start that exact same plan, same $200 a month, same investment, same everything, you'll end up with roughly $700,000 instead. Same behavior, 10-year head start lost, $300,000 gone, not because you were bad with money, not because the market failed you, simply because you waited. This is the unfair advantage of time, and it is the most powerful force in personal finance. Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. Your 20s are when that wonder is working hardest in your favor. So what do you actually buy? Keep it simple. A Roth IRA account, which you can open in about 15 minutes on platforms like Fidelity or Vanguard, and inside it, buy a total market index fund like VTSAX or VTI. You're not picking stocks, you're not following crypto Twitter, you're buying a tiny piece of the entire American economy on autopilot. And this is critical. Automate it. Set up an automatic transfer the day after payday so the money is gone before you can talk yourself into spending it on overpriced garbage. Make the decision once and let the system handle the rest. The Roth IRA specifically is a gift in your 20s because you're likely in a lower tax bracket right now than you will be later. You put money in after paying tax, it grows completely tax-free, and you never pay taxes on it again when you pull it out in retirement. It is one of the most powerful legal wealth tools available to regular people, and most 22-year-olds have never heard of it. Thing number 3, strategic travel. The perspective shift. Now, before you roll your eyes, I am not telling you to buy a $4,000 Bali trip for the gram. That's not the travel I'm talking about. I'm talking about strategic travel. And yes, it belongs on this list as a real investment in your 20s. Here's why. When you navigate a foreign country where you don't speak the language, where the currency is different, where you have to figure out transportation, accommodation, and meals in an unfamiliar environment, you are building self-reliance. You are proving to yourself that you can handle discomfort, adapt to chaos, and solve problems without a safety net. That quality, the ability to stay calm and functional in uncertain situations, is directly transferable to business, investing, and leadership. Some of the most decisive, unshakable entrepreneurs I've ever encountered have all traveled extensively in their 20s. That's not a coincidence. You also build a global perspective. You start to see how other people live, what they value, how they build businesses and communities. That broadens your thinking in ways that are impossible to replicate just by reading about it. But here's the hack that makes this both smart and financially responsible. Travel rewards credit cards. Use a card like the Chase Sapphire Preferred for your regular everyday spending. Groceries, gas, subscriptions. Pay it off in full every month. This is non-negotiable. And watch the points stack up. Millions of people travel for almost free using this strategy. And as an added bonus, responsibly using a credit card for 12 to 24 months builds the strong credit score you are going to need when you apply for a mortgage on your first property. We'll get to that. Thing number 4, legitimate education, the skill compounder. Your brain in your 20s has a superpower that literally starts to fade as you get older, neuroplasticity. Your brain is biologically better at learning new skills and forming deep, lasting knowledge patterns right now than it will be in 15 years. So what are you doing with that? I'm not telling you to go get a master's degree in something that won't move your income needle. I'm talking about legitimate, targeted education, and the key word is legitimate. A $20 book from someone who actually built a business from scratch can fundamentally rewire how you think about money and opportunity. A $100 online course that teaches you how to run paid Facebook ads, or how to close a sales call, or how to use Adobe Premiere can directly increase your monthly income by thousands of dollars. The rule for filtering legitimate education from garbage is simple. Does the person teaching it have verifiable proof that they've done it? Not a rented Lamborghini in a YouTube thumbnail, not a 17-year-old made $2 million in 3 months headline. Actual receipts, real results. People who built real companies, wrote real books, and created lasting frameworks. Skills to prioritize in your 20s: digital marketing, sales, copywriting, coding, video production, financial literacy, or a skilled trade. Any one of those mastered in your 20s is a direct path to significantly higher income within 2 to 3 years. The opportunity cost of not buying that $20 book or that $150 course isn't just those dollars. It's the thousands in future income you'll never earn because you didn't take the time to level up when your brain was primed for it. Thing number 5, real estate or house hacking, the asset accelerator. This one will feel intimidating. Do it anyway. If you can buy a duplex in your 20s and live in one unit while renting out the other, you have just pulled off one of the most powerful financial moves available to a regular person. Your tenant or tenants are literally paying your mortgage while you build equity in an asset you own. This strategy is called house hacking, and it is the closest thing to legal cheat codes in personal finance. Here's the leverage math. With a conventional loan, you might put down 3 to 5% on a property, let's say $10,000 to $15,000 on a $250,000 duplex. You are now controlling a $250,000 asset with a fraction of that money. Your tenant's rent covers your payment. You're building equity, the property appreciates over time, and you're living essentially for free or dramatically cheaper than you would be renting. Even if you can't buy a duplex yet, the same principle applies to renting rooms in a house you're renting. Find a 3-bedroom place, get 2 roommates, cover 60 to 70% of your rent with their contributions, use the money you save to invest or build your down payment fund. Real estate rewards people who start early. The down payment you save by being disciplined in your 20s, the credit score you build using that travel card responsibly, and the income from your side hustle all converge here into your first major asset. You don't need to be a millionaire to start. You need a plan, a decent credit score, and the discipline to execute it. Thing number 6, cheap, reliable transportation, the wealth preserver. I need you to hear this clearly because the car industry has spent billions of dollars conditioning you to believe something that is financially destroying you. A brand new $30,000 car loses thousands of dollars in value the moment you drive it off the lot. By the end of year 1, it's lost 15 to 20% of its value. By year 5, it's worth roughly half of what you paid. And if you're leasing, you're paying top dollar every month to drive something you'll never own. A new car with a loan or lease is not a purchase. It is wealth destruction with cup holders. Here's what you actually need in your 20s. A 3 to 5-year-old Toyota Corolla, Camry, or Honda Civic, something in the $10,000 to $15,000 range, bought outright or with a minimal loan. These vehicles are statistically among the most reliable cars ever manufactured. You'll spend almost nothing on repairs. They'll last you a decade. Now, here is where it gets interesting. The average car payment in America right now is over $700 a month. Let's say you avoid that and invest $500 a month instead. The difference between a modest, reliable car and a new luxury payment. $500 a month invested in index funds, starting at 22, could be worth over $600,000 by the time you're 40. 18 years, $500,000. Gone because you wanted leather seats and a better sound system at 23. Your car should get you from point A to point B safely and reliably. That is its one job. It is a tool. Stop treating it like a status symbol. Thing number 7. Health fundamentals, the performance enhancer. This might seem out of place on a financial list, but stay with me, because this might be the one that determines whether any of the other 6 actually work. Your health is not separate from your wealth. Your health is your wealth engine. If you treat your body like a garbage disposal, surviving on processed food, sleeping 5 hours a night, never moving, your brain function drops, your decision-making becomes reactive and emotional, your energy craters, your discipline evaporates, and all the financial systems you set up, they quietly fall apart because you can't maintain them. Think about what you actually need to build and run a side hustle, to manage investments intelligently, to show up sharp at a job where you're gunning for a promotion. All of that requires mental clarity, sustained energy, and emotional regulation. all of those things are directly controlled by how you eat, how you sleep, and how you move. The investment here is not a $200 a month gym membership and a custom meal prep service. It's basic. Buy quality food even when the cheaper option is tempting. Protect 7 to 8 hours of sleep like it's a business meeting you can't miss. Build a basic, consistent exercise routine. 3 times a week, even 30 minutes, is enough to measurably improve your cognitive performance. This is the unsexy one. Nobody makes money selling sleep more and eat vegetables. But the people quietly building empires in their 20s, they're not burning out at 29 because they treated their body like infrastructure, not an afterthought. The conclusion: options versus appearance. Here's what all 7 of these things have in common. None of them are about impressing people. The expensive car, the designer clothes, the table at the club on Friday night, those things are about performance. They're about playing a character of success for an audience that's too busy performing their own version of success to actually notice you. What we've talked about today is different. It's quieter. A Roth IRA doesn't look impressive at a dinner party. A used Camry doesn't turn heads. Living in one unit of your duplex while your tenant pays your mortgage doesn't make a great Instagram story. But at 35, when your friends are still chained to a job they hate because they can't afford to leave, because the car payments and the credit card debt and the inflated lifestyle make quitting impossible, you'll have what people in finance call screw you money. Money that gives you the freedom to walk away from a toxic boss without panic. Money that lets you take 6 months off to build a business without starving. Money that means your choices in life are made by what you want, not what you owe. That is real wealth. Not the watch, not the car, not the apartment in the trendy neighborhood you can barely afford. The math is ruthlessly simple. Every dollar you invest in your 20s is worth dramatically more than every dollar you invest in your 30s or 40s. Time is the variable, and unlike money, you cannot earn more of it. You are sitting on the single most valuable financial asset of your entire life right now, and that asset is simply how young you are. Don't waste it trying to look rich. Go build something real. If this hit different, drop a comment below. I read every single one. And if you've got a friend who's still leasing a car they can't afford and avoiding their Roth IRA, do them a real favor and send them this video. It might be the most valuable thing you do for them all year. I'll see you in the next one.